Hello, I'm Angie Hawkey. I'm a home stylist with a passion for entertaining at home. So if that's something you love to do or something you'd like to do more of, then I hope you'll join me while I show you how I create this simple tablescape for two. Be very nice perhaps for lunch or for dinner. And I'll share some of my tips and tricks along the way. And I'll also be breaking a few of my rules, but after all, rules are made to be broken, aren't they? So stay with me. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that I have changed the table setting slightly, and this is something I do quite a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. You might find yourself that when you set a table and you look at it, there could be something not quite right, something either missing, there might be too much on the table, not enough, and so it's quite okay to change your mind. And I have changed my mind today because I'm using, as you can see, a very small table, and I really want to make the most of the space, and that's one reason why I've decided to change things slightly. The other thing I want to mention is that I'm actually forgetting the rule that I have about using tablecloths and placemats, because today, as you can see, I'm using a glass table, and when I use a glass table, I really want it to shine through. I tend to use a lot of either crystal or glass, and sometimes even fairy lights, and it really makes the table sparkle. So for that reason, we're going to just use a glass table. So the first thing I wanted to show you was a very easy space-saving napkin fold. It's just a pocket fold, and it means that you can put your cutlery inside it, and that will save room. So let me show you that first of all. So just place your napkin down in front of you, and the first thing you're going to do is to fold it in half. There we are. Each time you make a fold, the trick really is to keep pressing it down, because you don't really want anything to unravel. Once you've done that, just fold it again in quarters this time, and then of course you formed a square. Once you've done that, you fold the top left-hand corner down to meet the bottom right-hand corner, give it a good press as well, and then turn it over. There you go, and simply fold it in half, turn it back again, and you're going to see that you've formed a pocket there, which is ideal, of course, for your cutlery. Now, I'm really lucky because I've actually found some rose gold cutlery, so I'm really pleased about that. And I'm going to simply pop that now into the napkin, and there's two reasons for doing that, so let me quickly do that first of all. There we go. When you put your knife down, of course, you always have your blade towards your place setting, never towards the person next to you. There we go. There is a reason for that, as there is with most forms of etiquette that go back hundreds of years probably. The reason for having the blade towards you is that in olden days the knives used to have very sharp blades, and you really didn't want to have that facing someone next to you. So there we are. So that's the napkin fold. Now the other reason I've done this is because I'm using the glass table. I didn't want clanging cutlery, and also I didn't want any scratches forming on the glass. So this way you've got your cutlery in the napkin, so it's quite safe, it won't harm your table, and of course once you take it out and you're using it, it's just going to be put on your plate, it's not actually going to touch the table. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some place settings down, and the reason I'm doing that is I want to see how much room I've got left in the centre of the table to form the centerpiece. There won't be very much on this table, but one reason I wanted to do this for you is to show you how pretty you can make a small table, so hopefully you'll agree with that. So let me go get the place settings now. So for this table I'm using white tableware. Now I use white tableware quite a lot, purely because it's so versatile. What you can do is ring the changes and just add different colour accessories and table decor. And I think this is always good. Firstly, it saves a lot of expense. You don't have to keep buying new tableware all the time. And if you do have repeat guests, when they come and see your dining room table all set up, you want them to be wowed, you want them to be impressed. You don't want them to think, oh, that's what they did last time, So that's another reason for trying to make the most of what you have. So we've got our place setting down, so that's the main plate. What I'm going to put on next may well surprise you. Yes, for this table setting, I'm going to be using paper plates. Now, I'm not going to be using them to eat off of, they purely are used for decoration. And I'm going to just place that on top of the main dinner plate, like that. And that's already forming my colour scheme. So we've got the rose gold cutlery, we've got these paper plates that are actually edged in rose gold, and they've got such pretty pink rosebuds and greenery on them. So, and that's given me really the inspiration for this theme. So, next stage. Okay, we're going to be serving the soup as the first course, so I'm just going to put down my soup bowl with matching saucer, but of course if you're having some kind of hors d'oeuvre, you could just put that on top instead. Okay, so that's my place settings, and now I want to give you another tip. Won't be a second. Okay, now if I were arranging a formal dinner party, what I tend to do is put place names down. But when it's something casual like this, there's something else that I really like to do, and I wanted to show you this. So what I've done here, I've just put a little gift tag really, and you can put your guest's name on it. And then I've taken some fresh herbs. In this case, I've got some fresh rosemary with some lavender, and just tied it together with some pink ribbon. So I'm going to place that just here on the pocket of the napkin. So I hope you can see that, and I just think that looks really pretty. But there is another reason for me doing this, and that is when whatever you're cooking, if you're having a dinner party and you're using herbs, then keep some of the herbs back. And if you do this, you will really have a lovely aromatic fragrance, and that will give your guests an appetite for whatever you're going to serve. I mean, in this case, I use rosemary a lot actually. I use it in roast lamb, I even use it in my potatoes when I actually cook them with garlic and rosemary. So that's something I like to do, so hopefully that's something you might like. So now we have set the place setting and the cutlery. I'll just do the other one so it's equal. And put that one here. There, and I will need another sprig of rosemary, so I'll just take that out, put that there, and I will add the gift tag as well. So now we can actually see how much room we have on the table. There isn't a lot, so you really can't do a very wide table centerpiece here, so I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep to the greenery and spring theme, and I'm just going to put some ivy down. There we go. And just really place it just across, haphazardly across the table. You don't want it to look too formal. And if you can't get fresh ivy, just buy some artificial one, it's absolutely fine. Okay, now I'm going to put down my centerpiece next. And that's something I really wanted to talk to you about. So this is a floral arrangement that I've made here, and I wonder if you can guess actually whether I'm using fresh blooms or artificial flowers. Well, whichever answer you gave, you'd be right, because I always use a mixture of both faux flowers and fresh flowers too, and there's a couple of reasons for that. You know, if you're choosing a colour scheme and it's a certain time of the year when there aren't any fresh flowers available in that particular colour, it's always good to actually collect some artificial flowers, keep them for when you might need them, and then you know you can add some fresh flowers as well, just to make it look more realistic. And in this case, I've used some artificial flowers. I've put some pampas grass in as well, some dried pampas grass. And that's really because I always like to add a bit of texture, and in this case a little bit of softness as well. And in case you're wondering which flowers are the real ones, it's the roses. So got some more here. So what you can do is just place one of the real flowers in between all the artificial flowers. There we are. And that's something I do quite a lot. So I think the centerpiece still needs some other things, so just bear with me. So I'm now going to add some glass candlesticks. As I said, because we're using a glass table, I'm going to use as much glass as I can just to reflect the glass. And I've been very lucky here. I've been able to find some rose gold candles, and I found some very pretty candlestick holders, candlestick rings. So, and that all adds to the theme. You know, there's nothing wrong with being eclectic and just putting lots of mismatched items on your table. It's just not something I do very often, unless I'm doing an afternoon tea party, and then my rule goes out of the window for that as well. But I can use lots of colour, and I find that that works very well as well. But of course, it's all a matter of personal taste. The reason for me giving my tutorials here is really just to give you some ideas to add to what you may already do. So that's the candlesticks. The last thing I'd say about centerpieces is, of course, you don't want to block the view of the person sitting opposite you. So make sure that you actually have a clear view. Always sit on it when you've finished your table setting. One thing I always do is sit down in the centre on a chair and then just look to make sure I can see over the top. And actually, if I can see over the top, anyone can, because I'm 5 foot nothing. So it's always a good gauge for me. Okay, now I think we can still do with a little something in the centre. You might think this is enough, and that's fine. I'm just going to try adding something else. Okay, so from my artificial bouquet of flowers here, I managed to take a few off, and I'm just literally going to strategically place them just along like this. As I say, this is not formal, you just want to have it looking very, very casual. And then the other thing I wanted to point out to you was that I've actually got these really pretty pink and rose gold glitter roses. Now, in fact, these are part of my Christmas decorations from last Christmas. And you know, I don't save my Christmas decorations just for the festive season. I often use Christmas decorations and fairy lights throughout the year, and you'll probably see that if you watch any more of my tutorials. So I'm just going to just put that down there. There we go. I mean, obviously you would keep checking, keep looking at your table and checking that everything's looking lovely, but I'm just kind of hoping that you're looking at it and it's okay. So the only thing we need to put on now are the glasses, or stemware, so I'm just going to get that now. So we're going to have some champagne flutes here, and then some wine glasses. There we are. Just as a general rule, you would normally put your knives obviously on your right hand side here, forks on the left, and then you would put your glasses above your knives. So that's the first thing. And then if you're having a salad or perhaps a bread roll, you would put that small plate above your fork on the left hand side. And your soup spoon or your dessert spoon can either go, if you've got room, at the side, or you can just place it at the top of the place setting. So that's actually really what I wanted to say today. And we're all ready either for lunch, as it is now, or if you're planning to perhaps make dinner for two, there's something else you need to do, so just bear with me. Well, that's it. I hope you've taken away some ideas, some tips, or maybe even hopefully some inspiration, and I'll see you next time.